Okay, that's good. All right. I'd like to call this meeting of the Planning Commission, Wheat Ridge Planning Commission to order. Can we have a roll call of the members, please?
Alan Bucknam.
Present.
Emery Dorsey. Here. Donna Kimsey.
Here.
Janet Leo. Here. Vivian Voss.
Here.
Amanda Weaver. Here. Scott Ohm and Dirk Bowden are absent tonight.
Thank you. Could we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item up is to approve the order of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the order of the agenda, please?
Motion to
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, can we vote, please? This one. Pardon me. All right. Pushed the mayor's one by mistake. My bad.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from June 1st. We have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of June 1st.
Okay. And I'm sorry, we have a second from Janet. Okay, any discussion? All right, a vote, please.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, next up is the public forum. This is the time for any person to speak on any subject not appearing in the agenda. We have one case tonight. Anyone here for that will have an opportunity to give input and comments. Did anybody sign up? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll start the public hearing. The only item on our hearing tonight is case number MS-17-04, an application filed by Russ and Heidi Sheard for approval of a 4-lot subdivision plat on property zoned Commercial 1 and Neighborhood Commercial located at 9840 and 9890 West 44th Avenue. And we'll start with remarks from city staff.
Good evening. For the record, Meredith Reckert, Wheat Ridge Community Development Department, and I'm here to present case number MS-17-04. Joining me at the staff table is Dave Brossman from our Public Works Department, and he would be available for questions as well as myself when I'm done with the presentation. So again, this is for approval of a 4-lot subdivision plat on property zone C1 and NC at 9840 and 9890 West 44th Avenue. I'd like to enter into the record the comprehensive plan, zoning ordinance, case file and packet materials, and the contents of this digital presentation.
So entered.
All notification and posting requirements have been met, therefore the commission does have jurisdiction to hear this case. So again, this is a request for approval of a subdivision plat, property zone C1 and NC, and the location 9840 and 9890 West 44th Avenue. The purpose of the plat is to subdivide the development parcel for individual structures and prepare the property for development. And because this is a minor subdivision, Planning Commission is the final authority on the approval. And I would note that a neighborhood meeting is not required for a subdivision plat. So this is a 2016 aerial taken of the property. You can see the site outlined in red with the 2 existing parcels. 44th Avenue runs along the north property line and Jellison Street along the west. So again, it's comprised of 2 parcels. The western one, which abuts Jellison Street, is 9890 West 44th Avenue, and it's, 48,000 square feet in size. The eastern parcel, which has the existing Swiss flower shop on it, is 9840 West 44th, and it's just a little bit over an acre with a combined acreage of 2.12 acres. Let's see, the property on the east contains 2 structures, one general retail structure, which was built in 1955, and a single-family residence, which was earlier in 1914. The western piece used to contain single-family home with some outbuildings, and those structures were recently demolished. So this is the same aerial photo with the zoning overlay shown on it. The property is not outlined, but it is comprised of this parcel and then this parcel. So what the different colors indicate on this aerial are the different zonings that are in the area. The subject piece is primarily comprised of commercial 1 zoning, and the C1 zoning is one of our rather open commercial categories which allow office service, retail, and so on. The southern 1/3 of the eastern parcel is zoned NC, which stands for neighborhood commercial. It is designated in pink. And this is a more restrictive commercial category, supposed to be more of like a neighbor transition to residential property. It has a more restrictive list of uses than C1, but it still does allow office service and retail uses on it. So the rest of the zonings represent the different, are represented by the different colors in the area. It's somewhat of a hodgepodge. We've got some ag to the south. We've got some R2 over here on the southeast. Primarily along 44th Avenue, we've got C1, just like the subject piece. Across the street on the west side of Jellison is multifamily. And like I say, it's rather a mix of uses with residential, everything from single family through high density residential, and then a variety of commercial uses as well. So taking a look at some of the property attributes. This first slide is standing on 44th Avenue, looking south at the front of the existing Swiss flower shop. This is moving to the west, and you can see the parking and access points for that. This is the western parcel, which was recently had some of the existing structures demolished from it. And then this is standing on Jellison looking east towards the side of the flower shop building. This is looking back towards 44th Avenue. Moving further south, this is some of the development further to the east. And then this is the very south end of the property. So the plat we're looking at tonight is comprised of 2 sheets. Sheet 1 is what I like to call the declaration page, and it contains the legal descriptions, signature blocks for the property owners, a recording block, and also notes. We've included on this a blanket cross-access easement language to ensure that access and parking throughout the development can be used by the guests and owners and tenants of the different buildings. This is the second sheet of the packet. North is to the top, so 44th Avenue runs up here on the north end, and again, we've got Jellison Street on the western side. This sheet does illustrate the new lot configuration, which is being divided into 4 parcels, each of which will have a structure on it. Lot 1, which is this, I guess it would be the northwestern parcel, is planned on being developed as a new retail flower and gift shop with office space. The existing flower shop is located on this eastern parcel, and the structure itself will remain as is. We have been working with the applicant, though, to make some modifications to that front parking area to make it function a little bit better when all the property is developed. Lots 3 and 4, which are down here on the south end, will contain smaller structures that, again, will be leased to a variety of tenants. Let's see, 10 feet of right-of-way is being dedicated for West 44th Avenue with 1.5 feet of right-of-way from Jellison. And I would note that the developer/property owner will be responsible for constructing new public improvements along both of those frontages. There is a single tract on the property which runs along the southern property line and then turns up and goes all the way up to 44th Avenue on the eastern perimeter. This is to accommodate the drainage, which will service stormwater quality and conveyance up to 44th Avenue to release into 44th. This application has gone on our typical referral, which is a 15-day referral to all affected service agencies and city departments. All of the responding agencies have commented back that they can serve the property with improvements installed at the developer's expense. In particular, Arvada Fire Protection District has, you don't see it on this, but they have reviewed the internal layout and have approved the site plan that will accompany this. So, staff does recommend approval for the following reasons. All requirements of the subdivision regulations have been met. The proposed plat will facilitate redevelopment of the site. The utility districts can serve the property with improvements installed at the developer's expense. With the following condition, there's a couple minor corrections that need to occur to the document prior to plat recording. I've got a typo in there. That concludes my presentation. I would be happy to answer questions if you've got any.
Great, thank you for that presentation. We'll take questions from the commissioners. Start with Commissioner Weaver. Any questions? Okay, Commissioner Leo? Commissioner Voss?
I do. Sheet 2, proposed plat document, sheet 2, says each of which will have a structure on it. And then we get down to description, lots 3 and 4 will contain an additional 3 structures.
Well, and actually, each of the lots will have one structure. Lot 4 is planned to have 2 structures. So really, there are a total of 5.
Fine,
The
okay.
existing flower shop, the new office, retail space, and then the 3 tenant buildings.
And I know you said that the plan is under review. Do we get to know, is it a so high storied office building, or do we know what?
Well, yes, so we're in the process of reviewing it administrative. It is an administrative review. The flower shop on the corner is about 2.5 stories tall. I can't remember, is it like 35 feet, you guys? And then the tenant spaces are more like 1.5 stories, so in the 20 to 24 foot, does that sound right too? Range. So they're way in accordance with both the C1 and the NC zone districts.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kimsey?
No questions.
Commissioner Dorsey? Okay. I just had a couple of questions. So when we're looking at sheet 2 here, tract A along the south and east, what's the access going to be like on lot 4? Is tract A going to serve as also an access way to lot 4? I didn't notice a road or drive on the east side or on the south side that exists.
Well, that is actually totally devoted to pond. The access point into the property is north of that, so sort of in this location. Dave, do you want to expand on that?
The access point is off of Jellison Street, actually. And there's a cross-access blanket easement over the whole property, so access is gained primarily from Jellison Street for the property.
Okay.
But there is also an access from the north that straddles the property line between Lot 1 and Lot 2, which will also serve the entire development.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed a utility easement running along the middle there, but I just wanted to make sure we understood what the access was, if there was any dedicated access. But that's great. Okay.
Yes, actually, there's a cross-access easement on sheet 1 that describes this.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I must have overlooked that.
Right there.
Great. Okay. The other question I had. When we discussed site drainage in the report, Meredith, you mentioned that developed flow will be directed into a detention pond that runs along that southern end, which we just discussed. Were there any concerns by staff on impact on adjacent properties, especially that property to the south?
No, as a matter of fact, the pond's going to capture all of the runoff from this site into the pond.
Okay.
And then it's going to be released into the existing storm sewer, on 44th.
I see.
Yeah, there will be no impacts to the south at all.
Other than perhaps a benefit maybe to the folks on the south?
Quite possible.
Okay. All right. Those are all the questions I have. If there are no more questions from the commissioners, If the applicant would like to address the commission, you're welcome to. You don't have to, but you're certainly welcome to. Now's the time when we do that.
Shaking their heads.
Okay, that's fine. So now's the time for public comment in the hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to make a comment or ask questions of the commission that we can then get answered, now would be the time to do that. Is there anybody here? Nobody's here? Okay, all right. Well, then I'll go ahead and close this portion of the public hearing for this case and take up discussions and a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve case number MS-17-04, a request for approval of a 4-lot subdivision plat for property zones C1 and NC, addressed as 9840 and 9890 West 44th Avenue for the following reasons. Number one, all requirements of the subdivision regulations have been met. Number two, the proposed plat will facilitate redevelopment of the site. Number three, utility districts can serve the property with improvements installed at the developer's expense, with the following condition: minor corrections to occur in the document prior to plat recording.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, with no discussion, I'll call for a vote on the motion, please.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right. That's it for the cases in the public hearing. Are there other items today to discuss? Meredith, are there any other items today? Okay. All right. I did want to mention, this is completely unrelated to planning, but it does relate to the city boosterism a bit. I noticed that there's going to be another bike race this summer heading right through Wheat Ridge, so I'm very excited to see that in August down 32nd Avenue. So it's whatever replaced the Pro Challenge. I forget what they're calling it. It's a little 4 days. Anyhow, be on the lookout for that in August. Right down 32nd. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. If there's nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn.
Okay. Do I have a second? Second. All right, let's vote.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right. Thanks, everyone.